Well, good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Richard Cruz, and joining us today is His Excellency General, the Honourable David Hurley, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, and our Commander-in-Chief of the Australian Defence Forces. We're also honoured to acknowledge Her Excellency Mrs Linda Hurley and Queensland's Windsor State School. And we warmly welcome the Defence Special Service officers who are also joining us this evening. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and the following students. From New South Wales, Chifley College, Mount Druitt. From the Northern Territory, Berry Springs Primary School. From Queensland, Caloundra City School, Pelican Waters. And from Western Australia, Holy Cross College, Ellenbrook. If you're able, I invite you all to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved. And here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Lieutenant Reginald Ernest Forwood. Reginald Forwood was born on the 13th of July 1885, one of 8 children born to Walter and Harriet Forwood of Adelaide. Born in the suburb of Mile End, he was educated at the Barton and Sturt Street public schools, later attending St Peter's College. His father was a well-known engineer, the founder of the firm Forwood, Downes & Co, and was a representative for a number of councils and trusts. Reginald undertook an apprenticeship in engineering at his father's firm and later worked at Broken Hill. On his return to Adelaide, he became chief draftsman and quantity surveyor for Forwood, Downes & Company. He also served as a junior warden of St Peter's Collegiate Masonic Lodge. Reginald Forwood enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in July 1915. He underwent a period of training in Australia and proved an able soldier. By the end of the year, he had received his commission, and in March 1916, left Australia in command of a contingent of reinforcements to the 27th Battalion. Second Lieutenant Forwood was sent to England, and from there to France to fight on the Western Front. In July and August 1916, the 27th Battalion fought a number of operations near the French village of Pozières, notably capturing a fortified windmill on the outskirts of the village. Again, Forwood proved his value as a soldier, and in September 1916 was promoted to full lieutenant. In September and October, the 27th Battalion spent time in a quieter sector of the front before returning to the Somme. The front line was still a dangerous place to be, however, and in October, Forwood is recorded as having been wounded but remaining on duty. In early November, the battalion participated in operations near the French village of Fleur. 2 attacks ultimately floundered in the mud, and the 27th Battalion suffered heavy casualties. On the 17th of November, during the battalion's second stint in the front line, and the day before it was to be relieved, Lieutenant Forwood was wounded. He was probably hit by artillery fire while working in the front lines to improve the 27th's position. He was evacuated with serious wounds to his head and a shattered left arm, and died of his wounds 3 days later at a casualty clearing station. Today, Lieutenant Reginald Forwood is buried in Hayley Station Cemetery in France under the Latin inscription Pro Deo et Patria, meaning for God and country. He was 31 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. An image of his headstone is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lieutenant Reginald Ernest Forwood, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
If you're able, please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys and students, that concludes this evening's last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.